it framed.
For ROCCAT, this is a very important series because they are within touching distance of Misfits and that third seed and a spot in playoffs. Remember, ROCCAT almost made playoffs in spring, almost catching Fnatic.
Yep.
And they would need to beat Ninjas in Pyjamas and maybe
throw
take
them
down
in the bin.
Misfits
You're
as
right.
well.
Throw them in that bin. See if you can actually then grab that playoff spot. For now, Trevor, it's about this pick a ban phase. Caitlyn Elise ban on blue side. Interestingly enough, from ROCCAT, not interested in first picking any of them. Really tells me they have something very special in mind for their first pick. Zach is obviously gone on the other side now. With Rakan being banned away, that has actually been a usual first pick. We've of course seen what he did to Thresh quite a few times. They value that very highly.
Many times. 9 games played, 5 of them are victories.
But again, if you're banning away the standard red side bans, you really must have something crazy up your sleeve for a first pick. Kalista is not the crazy thing I was looking for, but with all the bans, it makes a lot of sense. I still think you gotta challenge the red side a little bit more to actually have them invest bans into Caitlyn and Elise, but if ROCCAT are not interested in playing them, they're kind of forced to do it then.
And of course, it allows both Maokai and Alistar to go through with, which by the way, NIP banned in game 1 on blue sides.
Yeah, very true. And they get them now. They don't want to play against Kalista, Alistar. Braum, Kalista could still be fine for ROCCAT, but again, they love to have Wadid on like these really hard engaged supports. With Rakan and Alistar out of the window, the options are a little bit more limited for him. Oh, support cannon gonna happen. I'm gonna guess it's support cannon, not like top lane cannon or anything for Foxy. This is something we see over in the LCK a lot, and it's actually super good once you hit level 6. Because you can just chain CC, like you throw in cannon, that's one knock-up, he pops his ulti, you apply another stun. Great early damage, and we also get the Kha'Zix. You remember our last game I said I would throw all my money on, him not playing a tank jungler? He did then play a tank jungler.
Yep.
I obviously just said it for fun. This time around, though, he gets the Kha'Zix.
He does indeed. The comfort pick that was banned away in the previous game. We're going to see the shenanigans of the Kalista cannon for the first time here on EU LCS soil. A lot of power to be utilized in Nagne. Also going to a comfort pick. Going to play that Talia. 6 games played this split. None of them are wins to date. But today's the day.
Today is the day.
I feel it in my bones, NIP. They won game 1.
One of the weaknesses of support cannon is if you start falling behind, you're not really going to offer a whole lot. So if you actually play around the enemy dual lane with things like Talia roams, Alistar tower dives, like you can shut down a cannon support lane. It seems to be one of the plans from NIP. Could have just gone Syndra if they wanted to, but instead they actually value the Talia and her utility. Let's see if Nagne can do anything on this champion in this game, because he needs to do more than in the early game than what we saw, last time around. Sorry, in the mid game last time around, where he didn't really get to offer anything.
Yeah, his Orianna had a little bit of difficulty in game number 1, but Shook did not, right? Shook was actually able to play around that bottom lane, got a number of kills, and we're in phase 2, by the way, mid lane bans.
Yeah, and now if you are ROCCAT and you have a bot lane you should play around, they should add in more tools to help the bottom lane. I just smacked on my mic there, sorry about that one. But need more tools so they can actually kill the enemy dual lane. They need some sort of globals that can help them, like Shen top lane is something that we have seen a few times, not from Foxy too often, but it's something you could play. Galio top or mid lane. Thinking about other globals right now. Pantheon, probably not going to happen, but hey, a man can dream. We get the Galio coming in from Betsy. Fine matchup against the Talia as well. And I guess the Jarvan is okay. Very good at joining skirmishes around the dual bottom side as well.
So it wasn't quite the global we were expecting, but still
I'm fine.
very
I don't even like Shen, so I'm glad they didn't pick it. I just want to talk about globals.
Nice, and that means Betsy's going to have a little bit more of a farming style lane in the mid. A lot of engage, a lot of tools available here to ROCCAT. Prophet on the other side now needs to decide what does he run into the job, and it's going to be the same matchup as before, but in opposite hands.
This composition, if you look at the NIP side with Alistar, Maokai, and Gnar, is fantastic if they get to team fights, but I'm a little bit concerned about the bottom lane in the early game with the Alistar. He's not going to offer a lot of threat against a cannon. It's a double range lane from ROCCAT side, and you got to respect the early damage, the base damage from this cannon support. And that's kind of one of the issues for them, because if they want to use the Talia to go bot lane to help, Galio's going to ulti and follow in. And ROCCAT's skirmish with Kalista and Cannon is super strong once we hit level 6. So I really want to see what Hikyu and Spartel can do. But for NIP, it's just get to the late game, get to big team fights with all your tanks.
Yep.
You should be fine. Before that, I am concerned.
And especially because Pride Stalker on his comfort pick of Kha'Zix. A lot of games under his belt, a lot of options available to him. Lanes that he can gank as well. So let's see whether or not ROCCAT can get ahead in the early game. Their backs are against the wall, and you know, I did mention it a little bit jokingly, but in a more serious vein, you know, ROCCAT, they are at 3 series wins. Misfits are at 5 series wins. If ROCCAT pick up a win here, 1 series difference and they play each other. ROCCAT and Misfits.
Yes.
That is for 3rd place. Misfits struggling to find their form again, and ROCCAT looking forward.
Sadly for ROCCAT, then Misfits will also play NIP later, where they can of course pick up an extra win, forcing ROCCAT to most likely having to beat a few more teams if they want to completely overtake them.
Taking down Fnatic in the past, maybe it'll happen again. We'll find out later. For now, we're loading up into game 2 here in Berlin as ROCCAT down 0-1 against the Ninjas in Pyjamas.
And the last game was crazy.
It was. We had backdoors, we had outplays, 89 hit points on that Nexus. It's not the first time we've heard EU teams saying, Rito, please make the Nexus less tanky.
And the other team saying, please buff the Nexus. We don't want people backdooring. It happens so often in Europe, I feel like. I want to see, though, Wadid's performance on this cannon. I mentioned how we were looking for other playmaking support he could play after Rakan was banned, Thresh was gone, Alistar was taken away from him. I'm happy to see him go for one of the favorite supports, you know, from some of the LCK teams.
Yes.
That we see actually quite a bit.
It's something that ROCCAT have probably got a lot of potential with. You know, Wadid is one of those playmakers. He's on the front lines, one of the initiators. Wadid's a big part of the reason that ROCCAT have picked up 10 game wins this split. And I know I am like hamming up this playoff race and this playoff story, but if you look at the standings, it is very close in the middle of the table there with Misfits and ROCCAT.
Yeah, we've kind of seen, you know, a little bit of a divide in Group A where Fnatic and G2 are kind of running away from the rest of the teams. I think that is what a lot of people would have predicted maybe coming into the split. Misfits trying to hold on to the top and trying to keep the bottom away as well. They're kind of stuck in that middle seat for now. Obviously, again, with them playing against NIP later, we're expecting a win for Misfits there. So suddenly ROCCAT needs to win here, beat Misfits as well, and then they need to find at least one other win, realistically, to claim that playoff spot.
Let's see whether or not they'll find it. I mean, as we've said, ROCCAT, they've picked up surprise wins in the past. It all starts with bouncing back now. It all starts with using this fairly early to mid-game team composition. Kalista, Kennen, Kha'Zix, Jobin. Really feels like a strong, what, kind of like 10 to 25, 15 to 25 minute style team comp. Getting into the mid-game, a little bit of rotations, have a Galio on your back.
Yeah, definitely. That's again where Kennen shines. The build you will see from Wadid, even though I got my prediction wrong the last time around, should be Eye of the Watchers is what you go for first, as you fully upgrade, towards it with your Sightstone as well, and then Righteous Glory coming in second. So it is not a lot of damage you're going to add towards the late game as this cannon here, but you will add movement speed and you add CC. But a lot of reasons he's being picked obviously is also for this laning phase, where the cannon can be really annoying to deal with, and especially at that level 6 mark, as I mentioned, where you can throw in Kennen with the Kalista ulti, or Kennen can just flash him with his ulti, and you can always pull him back and throw him in again. You can chain a lot of CC, and then you can gank around the lane. Send multiple members in and have this double CC dual lane, set up the kills.
What skills do you like for those support cannons? We'll talk about them in a moment as Nagne and Betsy are trading. A lot of skills back and forth, trading mana, actually, and I think Betsy comes away worse for wear at the end of that fight, despite landing everything. And yeah, support cannon, is it Q-Max?
No, W is what
W?
I see quite a lot from it.
Doesn't make a big difference because you're not really, you know, itemizing to utilize either of those abilities.
Yeah, I mean, again, your damage, it does matter a little bit in the early game. I think a lot of it is still just apply CC more than anything. I do want to see, though, what Wadid is actually going for in this game. Obviously, your E is mainly just your engage tool. Pride Stalker, though, finding Shook
Getting some damage back and forth. Pride Stalker's the one in trouble as the threaded volley comes out from Nagne. Taste their fear comes down, so does the Bramble Smash, and Betsy's Duran Taunt will not find a target. Sparkle has already roamed. With the help of the River Scuttler, he's able to get around. Ninjas in Pyjamas once again find first blood, and in Nagne's lap.
Yeah, and it's Shook again, involved. Like, he didn't even go for it this time around. It was Pride Stalker who found him, but Nagne could move first from that mid lane, making sure NIP actually won that early trade. And this is a problem for Pride Stalker. He is playing this Kha'Zix here where he wants to duel the enemy jungler. He wants to try and get an advantage that way. But obviously, again, Kha'Zix, while he does have some early game power, it is a lot about him getting items. Lethality is fantastic on him to just keep skirmishing, find individual targets. Nagne right here joins first, as you guys can see. Pride Stalker is flashed out by the time Betsy joins, and then also with the roam from Spraddle, well, there's not really a way out once you're stuck in here. And Betsy getting a little bit baited by his jungler, but obviously his own fault for being aggressive in the first place.
Yeah, I managed to jump in just as that sapling toss blew up. So initially I was like, yes! And then support from NIP came down, and Pride Stalker was like, damn! He ends up being punished.
I also want to see the build, the skill order from Pride Stalker. I've become a little bit of a fan of evolving his ulti level 6, but this is mainly for solo queue, because then what happens is whenever you enter a brush, you get your little stealth and movement speed buff, and you can actually use that with your Duskblade really well if you're rushing that item, and then you have like a lot of ways to keep proccing the Duskblade against these multiple enemies. It is very effective in solo queue. I've seen it in professional play over in the LCK. I want to see the Pride Stalker is going for it. This time, if he just goes for the standard, evolve queue.
Does he need to be ahead at all? Does he need to have a lead to go for that, like, rush Duskblade, which is something that I think we kind of talked about a little bit?
I mean, kinda, yes and no. I think it's more about what kind of playstyle are you aiming for as a team with the Kha'Zix. If you're aiming to play 1-3-1 split push and very skirmish heavy, you can go for it. Let's see bot lane.
Great flash from Hyanin, keeps him alive. Wadid's already used the EW and Q. There's no further CC. And Hyanin with no flash very easily gets run down. Gets good damage onto Spratle as Spartle's now forced to back away. Bramble Smash comes down and that'll force the flash away from Wadid. Ninjas in Pyjamas, second kill, Shook involved again.
Yeah, Shook always finding success with the early ganks. Yeah, I like that he's playing around the Alistar as well. So easy for him to set up CC with the Jhin. Wadid trying to make sure the CS is still there for his AD carry. Spratle saying no, Spratle.
That's so cheeky. Why would you do that? What? How?
Yeah. He wanted to be a good support and make sure that the wave got pushed into the tower.
Is that worth giving up a kill?
Of course it's not worth it.
I had to ask the question because that was ridiculous.
I'm not sure if he either overestimated his own tankiness or underestimated the damage maybe from Wadid here. There's no like good answer. So he really wants Wadid to go into tower. Yeah, he got 1 minion near the tower. Kind of.
I'm at an absolute loss for words. I use the line as like sometimes in my play-by-play, donated a kill.
Yeah.
But that legitimately was just donating a kill. So anyways, as we return to the action.
Wadid got his sidestone now. He's happy. He's like, oh, thanks. I kind of needed that goal, actually. He's just making sure Wadid can place wards. Supports, they back each other up. Top lane.
Gonna start trading one more of those and we're trading out Officio.
Oh, wait, he's not running the cat skin?
No. We don't have...
remake.
Dude, we don't have the cowbell skin for Alistar, and we don't have Meowkai. I mean, like,
this is unacceptable.
Seriously, just like super unacceptable. There's a few guys in the audience are like full on...
This is professional League of Legends. Like,
flip the tables.
You have to pick the right skins.
We do indeed. Well, we're getting close to 10 minutes. Ninjas in Pyjamas again have a lead.
I can't watch this game anymore.
In game 1, Deficio, NIP had a 1,600 gold lead. We'll see whether or not they can make any more plays to pick it up. And do you remember in game 1 I talked about those dragons and how lucky ROCCAT are? They get the juicy ones. They get their first Infernal at 8 minutes, and I noticed evolved Q on Pride Storm.
Yeah, it's fine. Again, it's what I said as I expected. I really wanted to see, just for the funs, the solo Q trend of Evolve R. But it is still the safer choice, what Pride Storm is doing here. Evolving his Q.
He Q with a deadly flourish. Knocks over the crab, gets some additional vision. Nicks away that gold from his opponent.
Oh, Shook gank number 2.
All right, Hyper's going to proc here from Prophet. Gonna keep running down Foxy, secondary. Boomerang as well. Shook's gonna think about going under the tower. No Nature's Grasp available, and Nagne cuts off the wall. A threaded volley goes backwards and sideways. Seismic shove catches Foxy. The hero's entrance buys some time. NIP get their third of the game. Take the blast cone to safety, and that was well played.
It's what we wanted to see from Nagne here on this Talia, now that he picked it over things like Syndra and Orianna. Want to see early moves, Shook.
All right, let's see if Shook can get away with his life. Betsy puts down the Winds of War. Prophet's getting good damage in return with that Phage, and Shook is able to walk away.
Walks away. So for now, NIP winning the early game, just like last time around. Bot lane though, 2v2, they are struggling quite a bit.
Man, Hyonin keeps getting caught by this combo. Good stun from Spratel. Wadid goes in with a slicing maelstrom, a deadly flourish, roops down Hyonin.
Oh, crit.
Fate's Call is available to Wadid. EQ starts firing, the curtains are called. Shot number 3, tags Hyonin.
Oh!
Kills him, and out of the corpse comes Wadid.
I love that from EQ. Shoots the cannon first, and then when he sees the ulti from Yana, he just turns it and says, "No, what, Yana, I can just kill you with that last crit." EQ also with the BF sword early, not just rushing Duskblade. So a lot of damage right now in this laning phase, with just a lot of flat AD.
I love the animation of Wadid coming out of a dead Kalista. Oh, I love it when you see those things.
I mean,
it's just so much fun.
Something dies and other things, you know, other things get born at the same time. And right there, Yanin gave birth to Wadid. Let's see it again, Trevor.
Oh, you saved it in the end.
I did. I tried.
You really did.
Really messed it up a little bit in the start. But look here, Hikyu with the mind game. You're like, oh, you know what? First one on Wadid, second one on Wadid, being like, okay, well, just switch it over to Yanin. And there he gave birth, right there. That's how it looks in real life.
I think there's a lot more screaming in pain, though, from what I'm led to believe. We should not be talking about this on broadcast. Ask your mums and dads, folks. Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're up around 1,600 gold. Took a minute longer this time. They had it at 10 minutes.
That's a shame.
They had it at 10 minutes in game number 1.
But we just had a 2v2 kill in the bottom lane here for Hikyu in a lane they were struggling in, because all ROCCAT did was say invest everything on trying to kill Spraddle with his ulti. So Hikyu, he just stood there and shot Yanin in the face and then turned around with the ulti and actually killed him.
201 BF sword pickaxe, as well as those Swifty boots. Got himself his Brawler's gloves as well, and just in such a great position versus a Vamp Scepter and attack speed daggers.
I am smelling the 2-0 for NIP already. Now, I know they won the last early game and then messed it up in the mid game, but their composition with all the tanks, you know, the carries are getting the kills. It's perfect for NIP. The damage dealers are picking up the early kills. The tanks, sure, are just sitting there and farming, but they just need to be a shield wall in front of Nagne and Hikyu.
Let's see whether or not Nagne's actual wall will make a difference. Seeing whether or not any sort of engage happens on the top. And Fisher, you mentioned like you're feeling a 2-0.
I mean,
feeling some
smelling
NIP
it as well.
Vibes here, you know, some performance. How accurate do you think your power rankings were this split?
I think they were fairly spot on. Nice picture.
Oh, so good. So good.
All right.
So this is your preseason tier list.
Yes. Okay.
I already see a mistake in S tier. I mean, is G2 really S tier?
Not right now, but after MSI, everyone would have put them S tier. Some people would have put Fnatic S tier as well. I did not do that. Turns out that was a mistake, so I apologize to Fnatic and all their fans. I think the rest of it is still fairly spot on. Vitality B tier could maybe be argued, but I think they're...
Do you think you overrated them just a little bit?
I don't think I've ever overrated Vitality or any of their players in the past.
Never, not
never,
once.
not a single time.
How many people remember how much Deficio hyped up Mighty Bear?
No one.
Does anyone? Are there any hands?
It never happened.
I see a few people nodding, but like...
Yeah,
you know,
they're lying.
Yeah,
they're lying. They don't remember. They don't remember
how
at
did
all.
that turn out? Does anyone remember?
You remember when I hyped Nuke Dog coming into this split and you didn't?
You did.
Yeah.
You
And
did
you know,
indeed.
Nuke Dog is pretty good right now.
He is
Anyway, Vitality could maybe be moved around a little bit. I think the rest seems pretty fair, except for Fnatic obviously should go up one tier.
All right, Fnatic go up, and G2 back half of the split, definitely earning their chops as S tier. But they might be in quarterfinals in playoffs, and that's really exciting.
I'm asking you right now. Never mind. We can talk about that after. It's about Vitality, not this game. So let's talk about NIP and ROCCAT instead. They are sitting in the correct tiers for sure.
Yes.
Not been able to challenge the playoff teams just yet, except for ROCCAT's few wins against teams like Fnatic.
And you know, we started today's broadcast by saying, let's go back in time. Let's look at Prophet, all this hype SKT starter coming over from the LCK. He played his split push style, but wasn't able to be unlocked by the rest of the team. And ROCCAT, on the other hand, they are looking at Pridestalker on the flanks, and Pridestalker hasn't had the success of Maxlaw. Now Betsy's taking a beating from 3 members of NIP. Slicing Maelstrom comes down. There's the stun bot, as well as the Fate's Call. All of the utility. Hjarnan stays alive. This allows ROCCAT to put the damage down. And Foxy manages to get the Cataclysm down onto Hiku. That's 2 kills for ROCCAT. Prophet wants to clean up though. He's already taken down Hjarnan. Connects the boomerang onto the retreating ROCCAT members. And Foxy tagged once again. Threaded volley falling ever so short. Foxy's going low, and Betsy's Justice Punch finds nobody. The Gnar backwards as Nagne is unable to get the kill, but NIP reply with 2.
2 for 2 right there. Hiku, sadly for NIP, died very early in the fight. Nothing he could really do, but with Prophet TPing in with the red buff as well, he could have gotten more. Sadly for him, all these low members from ROCCAT did manage to escape. Tower is not dead just yet. 2 for 2 though still, and NIP are still very happy with the current situation. IH is completed for Hiku, but look at the fight again. They go on to Betsy. Pridestalker does not want to join, but Hiku has to take the long route around the Rift Herald, while ROCCAT's bottom lane can run straight from the top lane, which is why they join first with a great ulti from Within. Good setup. Now Hiku joins. Sadly for him, there's also a Jarvan TPing just almost right next to him, and he just goes down, and took quite a while before Prophet could actually join the fight. Got the red buff from Hjarnan, and at this point here, as a Gnar, you're seeing the Pentacle, like right in front of you. You just heard the caster say SKT, you're feeling the spirit, and then sadly, almost everyone walks away, and another fight happens.
It does indeed. We rejoin the combat, and what it is down. Easily caught up. This will allow NIP to take down the Rift Herald very easily.
And I like that Hiku are just rushing Infinity Edge here and not just going full lethality, because he knows there's quite some tanky members on the side of ROCCAT, like the Galio, like this Jarvan here, so he will have to deal with them in the fights, and he's actually going for the best tank killer build with the crit. And let's see what he can actually do with it. So far, 3-1 and 2. Great start. And they also get the Rift Herald. Foxy will get a bot lane tower, or try at least. Red buff Prophet.
All right, let's
go
see
for the solo kill.
Prophet can run him down. Black Cleaver versus, well, nothing right now. Prophet decides not to. There's not enough vision.
Betsy also moved from mid, so he was probably expecting Betsy to have ulti. A few seconds on it, but obviously hard to time that perfectly for Prophet. Hiku, though, he's basically in the top lane. He doesn't actually care about all these stupid shenanigans in the bottom lane, because Hiku is trying to carry this game.
To Fisho, it's a 3,000 gold lead for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Even better than their Game 1 stats. And with the advantage they have, surely they can play this mid-game stronger. They've got
you say that.
They've got pick power with the Jhin.
You're right.
Engage from long range.
I mean, they had that last game as well. You know, it didn't matter. So, before we flame anyone, we need to see the mid-game first.
Yes.
And then, if it all goes to poop, then we can start flaming.
Well, I don't know why you want to rush to that, okay? Ninjas in Pyjamas, I have faith. Remember we said, we were there when Origin broke the losing streak.
Yes.
And Hiku was
and we had a lot of people with us as well. That was actually a super hyped up series back then, because someone had to win. That was kind of the story of that series, and it was ROCCAT who won in the end, the 2-1. Still living on that hype. Yeah, we're indeed. Just enjoying the recall, of course. A little bit of fun there. Nice. As NIP, they still maintain this lead. And yes, you know, as we said, it's been a struggle for this squad ranked down in D tier. I actually had said to Deficio before the show began, should that be E tier? Because NIP had a lot of struggles, and it was unjust, it was unfair, and unneeded to go that far. But NIP, very realistically, very, very likely, 95%, going to be looking towards the promo tournament and picking up wins in the back half, showing that you've grown as a team, and looking if they can take down Betsy here. That's a good start to the back end. The tower falls, that's the second of the game. Betsy is able to escape with his life, but NIP got the objective. NIP did not manage to time the CC there to actually lock down Galio for long. Foxy will get his top lane tower, though. He's actually been busy just kind of standing in the side lane, smacking on whatever is in front of him. Probably will get a bot lane tower, so a lot of turrets dropping. Will be a wide open map, and that's what we got to see now. A lot of engage on both sides. You know, you got the Wadid kind of crazy man diving in with Galio ulti onto him, same for Foxy. Obviously, on NIP side, you have Spraddle as the main engage, and then 2 follow-ups with, actually 3 follow-ups with Hikyu's ulti, Prophet, and then Shook on this Maokai. So a lot of ways for both teams to fight. We should not have a boring mid-game at all. It should be actually super action-packed with Baron spawning soon.
Yep.
I will not predict a Nexus backdoor this time around.
Well, you can't say that now, okay? Let's see what the next few minutes holds.
That's fair.
Then, once we see the next few minutes, you can decide. Pride Stalker, by the way, he was sitting on 3 long swords for a very long period of time. We're getting to 20 minutes in the game.
Duskblade.
Working there, but it feels, when you're down 3.5k gold, risky, maybe. But
I mean,
what other options do you have?
I mean, Black Cleaver is still perfectly fine on Kha'Zix. I think what he just wants to do is assassinate Hikyu or Nagne in the fight. So that's what he's looking for. Ooh. Look at that.
Very cheeky, of course. Again, we keep talking about the implications of both of these teams. You can see Giants in the bottom left of your screen. Welcome back to the room. The Giants squad had a phenomenal challenger split. They're taking on Wind and Rain tomorrow. And of course, Ninjas and Pyjamas are likely going to be facing one of these teams.
Because remember here in the EU Challenger scene, whoever wins this semi-final, they're in the promotion tournament and will be facing off against some of the LCS teams. A lot of swap around right there.
Yeah,
and we see
pretty cool, actually.
Baron is alive, Trevor. That means we're going to fight soon around it.
It does, and NIP have not had great Barons all split long.
They don't need it all split long. They need it today.
Okay, well,
today is the day.
They had questionable Barons in game 1. Set up the vision, walked into ROCCAT's jungle, and then got.
But let's be real.
On.
Who needs Baron? No one.
You can win without it.
You can win team fights without it. It's not even that great.
Prophet, not going to go further forward. Also, by the way, in terms of Pride Stalker, he's evolved W seconds.
Oh, look at this. Wadid is actually flanking around them, trying to set up the big engage here with the cannon.
Let's see whether or not the stun can come down. Wadid, no flash to follow Nagne's flash. Foxy, however, has joined. Cataclysm available to him. There's no slicing Maelstrom, and the Nature's Grasp could be problematic. Betsy jumps into the back end, and the fight is split up. Foxy's the first one to go down as a Justice Punch catches Spraddle in the face. Fate's Call gets a small knock-up as Yanin is now running for his life. Needs to dash and use that passive as best he can. Prophet has found the boomerang.
Find someone.
Nagne has locked off his own team. Prophet and Hikyu can't find anything more, and ROCCAT lose 1.
NIP just punished that uncoordinated engage from ROCCAT so well. You see Kennen fly in first, he didn't hit anything, then Foxy TP'd in all the way in the back, and suddenly there was actually no support around him. And NIP just take down the Jarvan first. Hikyu was running around with that last crit ready for someone to actually die, but he wasn't in range to do anything. So look at this. Engage from Madid. He obviously wants more members than just Nagne, so good flash from the Talia to get away. And Foxy now suddenly finds himself pretty far away from the team. Yes, there's a Galio ulti to help him. At this point, Yanin and Pride Stalker have just joined the fight, and Madid has already used his ulti, which is kind of his big team fighting tool as a cannon.
And all 3 tanks of NIP on the front line. The back line, the damage dealers for Ninjas, at no real threat at all.
And sadly for Hikyu there, not finding anyone. But once again, the guys with the gold on the side of NIP, they are the 2 carries that we look at, Nagne and Hikyu, and then actually the third one is Prophet, who is of course Ernar here, who benefits so well from just rushing to these 2 items. He's sitting with Frozen Mallet, Black Cleaver at the moment. He's going to win the side lane split push. He's going to be strong in team fights. And last fight here, poor Foxy. While he did join the fight, it was sadly not enough.
Yeah, the fight was over before he could do a whole lot, unfortunately. And Prophet showing that on his version of the Gnar versus Jarvan. Significantly stronger start, significantly stronger gameplay. However, got to remember some of the ganks. Shook repeated attempts to that top lane.
I mean, it's been actually another good game from Shook, which is super cool to see from him. Liking the tanks very clearly. Yeah, he might be a bit famous for his Lee Sin, but what about Maokai?
Scepter play. Oh, thank you, Soaz.
God damn it, Soaz.
Thank you, Soaz. And on behalf of Fnatic, because Deficio undervalued the Fnatic squad, who were having the best split all tournament. Anyways, ROCCAT are able to get in and steal the Infernal Drake. Pride Stalker will lose his life, and Hjarnan throwing down a lot of spears over the wall. Justice Punch comes down from Betsy. Sparkle goes over the wall. He knocks EQ in. Hjarnan rather. Hjarnan's taken down. That's a second mistake. What is going to sidestep one before Nagne runs him down. That was a great play from Sparkle.
This game is so over, man. NIP are just winning every single fight in the mid game. Not like last time around. They're actually setting up some of these plays very well, and they're engaging straight onto ROCCAT every single time. Yes, they might lose Infernal Drake, but it's all about the Baron, Trevor.
Oh, such good play. I'm going to forgive Sparkle for that donation earlier. It was to build false hope. Because
it's smart
of what a fantastic catch onto Hjarnan. Baron, much easier when there is no contest, when there is no one defending, and NIP push this gold lead to nearly 9,000 gold as the Baron drops.
All right, let's see the Dragon setup right now. You see on your minimap that ROCCAT are very scattered. Foxy's not even here, so when Pride Stalker jumps in to actually steal it, the fact that Betsy joins him signals, okay, ROCCAT are calling for a fight, but they don't have enough members around. Like, Foxy just entered the bottom of your screen, not even close to actually join the fight. I think they want to just let Pride Stalker go in for the steal and then kind of just leave him. Once you follow up with the Galio ulti, you're really signaling now you are fighting. A second fight in a row where poor Foxy doesn't get to do anything. Last fight he just died instantly, and this fight he didn't even get to join.
So for sure he dealt 196 damage in the previous fight. He's dealt 155 this time.
But it's not really his fault, like, especially this one. He's sitting in the bottom lane, trying to push out the wave, and then suddenly he dies.
Let's see whether or not the Unicorns of Love will be watching another game.
Have you noticed how beautiful Chachi is? Like, every time he's on camera, I'm like, that guy, he's actually very beautiful.
Yeah, like a very pretty man.
He is.
He plays as well as he looks. Yeah, see.
Not bad.
Beautiful man, beautiful gameplay.
I guess aggressive?
Well, it's not really a look, okay?
You can look aggressive.
Nature's Grass comes down. What he doesn't. Shook is going to buy some time. His hero's entrance comes down. Nagne is able to take down Pride Stalker. Shook still alive. Shook stays alive. Betsy finally comes in to take him down, but at the cost of his entire team.
Worth it.
Betsy
they kill
is
Shook.
the last man standing. Nagne uses the cleanse to buy a few seconds, and NIP ace ROCCAT.
I mean, NIP is looking way better than ROCCAT in this game here. Nagne 7-0-7 on this Talia. It's been his best champion during the split, and he's showing it once again. Hikyu and the rest of NIP, they want the base.
Ninjas in pajamas.
Ooh, let's see. 5 seconds on Pride Stalker with Deed alive now. Hjarnan following. They only have a few minions, and they might have to just say, you know what? Next time they get it.
Not going to make any mistakes when they're on the verge of their first 2-0, of their first series win.
So this is how you start a fight as a Maokai. Just walk down the river, get engaged on, and then suddenly you realize you're actually really hard to kill. Here in the late game, we'll stay alive for almost the entire fight, and it just sets up everyone from NIP to join. In the end, nice root as well from Hikyu. He's been on fire today as well with his Jhin. Yes, they do kill Shook. May he rest in peace.
I think he can call Worth. If you were ever going to open all chat and say Worth, I think that's one of those times.
That'd probably be one of them, yeah. That is very true. Pride Stalker getting caught out. He does have his dust plate now, but again, you want to play Kha'Zix in these games where you are playing on multiple lanes and you can really find people 1v1.
Oh, no.
Wait.
Oh, no.
They have a mascot too now?
Oh, my word.
All right. I mean, I like that. That's a challenge here for Unicorns of Love.
Oh, it is indeed. We'll see whether or not... Which mascot will do battle? And who is better?
That was a scary-looking monkey.
Oh, man, I can't believe we're getting more and more mascots here. It's very exciting. Need to get the cheerleaders back. Unicorns of Love definitely had that one down in spring. Ninjas in pajamas with the gigantic lead, 11,000 up.
Oh, big one.
Comes down. Foxy actually knocked out of it. Stays alive very, very long. Enough to take down Hikyu. Where's the rest of the damage? ROCCAT has split up and Hjarnan was top lane.
Well, Hjarnan and Wadid just recalled. Coming in now. Nagne is not close. Does have his ulti though to potentially join the fight. Hikyu this time around actually did get taken down in the fight. No flash frame. We'll be ready probably for the next one once we get it. Another Infernal Drake alive. Will ROCCAT get number 4? because it is the 1 minute. So Foxy will be alive, and they stole the last one. So that probably means they have to take the next one.
Surely ROCCAT cannot come back from this with supers, with Baron, with 10K.
See, the last time I said that was Misfits H2K, and H2K came back. That was what? Was it 10,000 at 20 minutes?
It was
like
indeed. I think it was like 9.5, but it was close.
Yeah, that was the game where Odo Amne just went absolutely crazy on Camille. This game here, I will make the same statement.
Okay.
I never learn from my mistakes, so I will just say that NIP cannot lose this game.
That would mean NIP will pick up their first series win. I wonder if this makes... How different this makes the Giants team members and players and staff feel.
Oh, they're shaking already. I can see it.
Of course, NIP, one of the teams that is most likely to be there. Of course, mathematically, there is a shot, but realistically,
you gotta slide it in.
I have to. It is my job to be technically correct.
True.
It is the best form of correctness.
Look, they're trying again to send Yanin and Wadid on some weird mission top lane to try and take down that inhib turret. Meanwhile, 5 members of NIP, they're just gonna go bot lane and actually take that bot lane inhib.
There's a teleport available to Foxy. The bottom inhibitor turret is being focused. Righteous Glory used by Sprotle to run down the tower, and Betsy
That is recall
standing toe-to-toe. Recalls come out. Yana and Wadid have joined the fight. Slicing Maelstrom is in. Wadid almost gets taken down. Pridestalker jumps in for the fight as he He's down! The Duskblade of Drakthar finds his man. Traded 2 for 2 thus far, but the inhibitor is still available and the target. Foxy's recalling from within his own jungle and cancels it. Foxy doesn't quite know what the option is here. Where is Yanin? Need to get some damage down as Wadid is running forward.
So Nakne, no flash. Yanin is not here yet. He's on his way. He's here now for another fight.
Demacian standard goes out. Wadid just, I think, sidestepping that boomerang blade. Continues to run away. NIP and ROCCAT in this 3v3. It's a little bit awkward, it's a little bit strange, but NIP, they got the inhibitor.
Oh, Foxy hoping you can find someone who's left behind, and no junglers alive. Infernal Drake being started. That's a recipe for disaster or potential Infernal Drake and steals. As you can see now, ROCCAT, they're buying into the hype here. They want to join and actually take the fight.
Well, ROCCAT are not giving up.
Oh, they have so many Infernal Drakes now.
That's a big deal. A lot of damage on their side. Foxy goes in. There's no Cataclysm. Does he need it? Sprottle's the target on the back end. Prophet taking a lot of damage. Yanin getting tagged up by that threaded volley and the Infernal. Helping IP. The Dragon goes down, but so will Yanin. The rest of ROCCAT are running for their lives. One tag is all it's going to need. All 3 shots miss. So does the 4th. Where is Pridestalker? He was trying to deal with supers. Ninjas in Pyjamas, 23 kills, 30-second death timers. They're gonna pour into the base.
Yeah, should be able to just go straight for those Nexus turrets right now. Let's see, 20 seconds on Foxy. One of the mans we're looking at to respawn. Wadid is recalling, TP in from Prophet. Only 1 turret left. This should be easy.
No ways that Pridestalker can make this happen. 15 seconds on the clock. The Ninjas in Pyjamas are doing the unthinkable. Where were you when NIP won their first series of summer? Well, this was not the result we were expecting when we came to the office today in the EU LCS.
I mean, it is a classic ROCCAT move as well, after beating Unicorns of Love, then dropping a series here to NIP. But honestly, NIP, especially here in Game 2, actually just played really well. Great early game setup with Shook once again, pulling off the early ganks. Hikyu, Nakne, they picked up the kills, and they were 2 of the big carries in this game here. I actually think NIP just completely outplayed ROCCAT in Game 2.
Officio, they were coordinated, they were controlled, Nakne's roams were effective.
And in classic EU fashion, they didn't get the Drakes, but they still won the game. Like, that's maybe the one thing where you can be like, hey, Infernal Drakes.
What I love about the Drakes, though, it keeps my quick stats dreams alive, as I keep harping on about these interesting things. But Pridestalker's Kha'Zix, it simply did not show up. After that attempt to kill Shook very early on, and how that got turned around, that was all the confidence NIP needed, and they just ran away with the game.
Of course, if you are NIP right now, as we said, a lot of it is about preparation. Winning a series, great for confidence, first of all, because it kind of confirms for them that some of the things they've been working on in practice actually are working.
Yes.
They're now picking up a series win, a 2-0 as well, with a Game 2 stomp, not just back and forths in the entire series. No, actually stomping ROCCAT here. Nagne as well, 10-0-9 on this Talia. Great performance.
What a game. What a game. We can see what did. Last member of ROCCAT to leave the stage. And difficult day for ROCCAT as Sprockle. There's a couple extra handshakes. He started the game with the biggest question mark in laning Alistar play I've ever seen. And ended the game by landing every single combo. And, 0-1-20 is a pretty impressive scoreline.
Yeah, that's almost a support dream.
Thank you to Fisher. There was a lot of support there on that one.
Oh, yeah, I said it was a support dream. Your statement kind of ended right there. He said, your name is KDA.
I was
and that
hoping
was
for you
it.
to pick it up, say something more about it, but it's fine, it's fine.
I think you did a great job.
Did you vote for your player of the series?
I actually didn't have the time to do it.
Well, it's pretty clear, because it went to Lord of the Pit and Nagne. I don't think that's a huge surprise there. I think maybe Shook would be a close second. Interesting I mentioned that, because he's busy setting up for the interview. But Shook, great impact early game, definitely big impact mid late game, and relevant the whole time.
Same for Nagne as well, as you said right there. He joined early on, got the first blood. We saw some good ultis towards the top side from him as well with this Talia, but mainly it was just teamfight impact.
Yep.
Actually, and I think Talia is one of these champions that some European mid laners are underrating. We see her still as one of the highest priority picks over in the LCK, and if you are okay with sometimes having to play around your teammates, then Talia is actually a fantastic champion. She's also good against some of these tanks and team fights because she actually can have decent damage against them.
Now we know why EU mids don't. By the way, just as they're about to set up for this interview, I need to just do a quick little aside. That's the first time I've seen the Mysterious Monkeys mascot, and I couldn't, it wasn't really right to say it in the game, but I'm going to say it now. If anyone's seen the flying monkeys from the Wizard of Oz, that's exactly what their mascot looked like. Seriously, just Google it, Flying Monkey Wizard of Oz. You'll see that mascot on stage in a second. With that, let's head over to Shook and Pyra, after they've picked up their first win.
Well, no flying monkeys, just ninjas here. And congratulations, Shook. You guys finally got on the board. You got this 2-0 victory. How does it feel to finally pick up a win here in summer?
I think we're quite happy with the win. We just want to improve every week since it's a high chance we're playing relegation. So we're just happy with every win we take, and we're just hoping to improve.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like you guys definitely were on the ball for this series. And just in general, what was going through your mind when you realized, holy moly, we're actually going to do it. We're going to be able to take down ROCCAT in this series and stay alive?
I think we could actually beat every team when it comes to getting games of them. It's just we make these small mistakes that throws games away from us a lot of the time. So we have it in us, it's just not showing. But yeah, I always think we can win.
And we have seen some flashes of brilliance, especially from you, not just with Baron steals and things like that, but you do seem to be kind of that primary initiator for the team. Would you say you're a leader on this squad?
Not necessarily a leader, but I would say I usually get my team ahead when it comes to in-game stuff. So yeah, it usually relies on me having a good game to get the team going.
Well, that's fair enough, and it seems like the stars kind of aligned and you guys were all performing well throughout this series. Now, it's obviously been a very rocky split for the Ninjas of Pyjamas on the re-entry to the European LCS. What would you say has been the biggest challenge with this squad?
The biggest challenge was definitely, I think, communication. It's something, if you have two new Koreans who do not speak English at all, they have to learn English, they have to get used to Europe, and yeah, it's just difficult to get the communication going.
Yeah, I can understand. So how have you guys been really working towards improving that over the course of the split? It seems like it's been better.
Yeah, it's just something, you have to give time to something like this. Yeah, you just have to play it out. Just hope it gets better every week and see where it goes from there.
Well, and we'll see how it goes for you guys heading ahead. You're still technically not locked in for that relegation tournament. However, it looks like the Ninjas in Pyjamas are playing stronger. And what's next for you guys? What are you looking to tackle ahead?
When it comes to teams?
Or just in general speaking, how do you guys feel like you're going to be performing from here on out?
We're just going to take every team, every game when it comes to us. We just want to improve. We're just going to try our best every game. Even though it's a high chance we're going to relegation, we're never going to give up. So
I like to hear that. Thank you very much, Shook, and congratulations on your 2-0 win.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, the Ninjas in Pyjamas pulled off some 2-0 no jutsu. Let's leave it to our analyst to break it down.
I was so ready to say 2-0 no jutsu. Pyra every time. All right. Gotta say, though, progress. Praise them for being just such a strong team this week. Such a strong team showing up against ROCCAT. I think we've seen, I don't want to say, the consistency is definitely not there yet, but we did see massive improvement across the board, it feels like, for NIPs specifically in this game, too.
I think the biggest thing for me is the fact that they got early leads and they didn't always throw them away, because we saw them doing that a few weeks ago against teams like the Unicorns of Love. But this time round, we saw them getting an early lead and then properly utilizing it, setting up good vision, making smart proactive play, responding effectively to the things that that ROCCAT tried to make happen. And I was overall just very impressed with NIP in this series.
Yeah, they were able to roam up for this first blood because both of their lanes were pushing. I'm not the biggest fan of the Galio mid lane, especially in the early game when you commit into a fight like that. But look, NIP just taking good fights constantly in the early game, getting this early game advantage, punishing Wadid and Hyanan once again for aggressive play in lane. And if NIP can do that, that's exactly what we wanted to see from this team, is they're good at building the lead, just compounded into game wins.
And it's nice as well to see the fact that this communication has been able to develop. You heard Shook talking about it. We expected it. You have two new Koreans. They are in a new city, they're in a new place, in a new league, and this will definitely be outside of their comfort zone, playing on a brand new team that they're not used to as well. And I think that it has taken them a long time to get to a point where they can properly work together and coordinate. And this, to me, felt like the first glimmer of what looked like a promising development for NIP.
And to be fair, we did give Nagne Player of the Series. We were decided as a desk in that, but it was a massive debate between Shook, Nagne, Hikyu, three members who all did very well, not just a single member carrying this team, which is good. Normally, often when teams are struggling, we see one guy, Mike Young, who might be carrying the team forward, moving them forward. Not the case here with NIP. And as we look at some of the fights that happened in the mid game, you can see that NIP were just out executing. This is not cheese. This is not like a crazy upset. They were playing the team fights incredibly well, specifically from what we saw around the mid lane.
Yeah, I was super impressed with this upcoming fight that we're going to show you right now, because this was ROCCAT trying to force a play onto NIP. It was basically saying, ROCCAT, we're ready. We have the cannon ultimate. We're ready to go in for the flank. I'm going to keep talking because I'm pretty sure the replay is coming relatively soon. But basically what we're super impressed with is the way in which NIP answer. Because you see, you think that flash is bad from Nagne, his positioning is bad, but he actually trades that flash for an ulti from Wadid. So now Faxi, he's in this really awkward situation where he doesn't want to engage because he doesn't know if he has any follow-up, and he has to ulti onto Spraddle, who's just soaking up all the damage, profit zoning away all the damage dealers, and the rest of NIP can just focus down one target at a time, and then just go for the rest of the chase.
And this is one of these turning points that Shook was talking about. Sometimes there were mistakes in games out of NIP, but successful fights like this in-game actually put the game so heavily in their favor that, you know, Hikyu, Nagne, they were so far ahead they could easily take subsequent fights like this. And that's what we wanted to see out of NIP, was actually that consistency throughout the entire game, not dropping those big mistakes.
And it's also worth highlighting, like I said in this game, NIP have got a lead. I'm certain they're going to throw it, because that's what I've come to expect from NIP. I expect them to get this kind of early lead and then make one awful decision that ends up snowballing the game. We almost saw it in game one of this series, and I was happy to eat my words in the way in which they just very cleanly snowballed.
You said it
that
so
lead
proud. I have it
out.
written down on the sheet, 12-16 in-game time. NIP will throw this game. You said it yourself. You stopped me from flaming you on air, so good for you. The thing I want to talk about moving forward, NIP are technically not out of that safe spot yet. However, it's very unlikely that they will be there. So, and it's something that Shook mentioned as well, is the promotion tournament coming up. So, Stress, looking forward, looking at some of the teams that are present in the Challenger Series, how does this edition of NIP that we saw today sort of stack up against some of those lineups?
Well, the game 2 NIP specifically looking very strong, I actually think can contend in the promotion tournament. You know, we've got teams like Giants and Schalke who have looked very strong throughout the entire split. But I think when you look at the way that Shook was in sync with the rest of his team, it's a double elimination format. If they line up and manage to get this kind of consistency in multiple games, I'm not scared that NIP can stay in the LCS. I think they actually can live up to the same level, if not better, than Giants and Schalke.
And I think the thing is that's right at the start of the season, it's maybe not what NIP want, but at this point, when you're improving as a team week to week and your only focus is improving, the fact that I don't want to say they're 100% the favorites coming in, but looking like one of the stronger teams when it comes to that promotion tournament has to be some benefit, some relief when you were struggling so much earlier on.
It's really difficult, right? Because when you look at a team as Giants, who've been super dominant throughout the regular season, and then we see NIP, who only this week have been able to get themselves a 2-0. I'm still hesitant to say that NIP look like the favorites. It's very much like, oh, hey, great, NIP look good. They look better. But I'm still keeping my eyes on like Giants, Schalke, being like, these are strong teams, and you need to be more consistent. This communication needs to continue to improve. Otherwise, you will be relegated because that is some tough opposition that you will be going up against.
I think the interesting thing for me, you can never know with Challenger. Last split, we thought Schalke were going to dominate
true.
everybody.
That is
ended up
very
out of it.
true.
I completely agree with you with the strength of them, but, you know, RB, Wind and Rain also looking strong. And remember, theoretically, if the standings lock now, Mysterious Monkeys would be that other team in the promotion tournament, and they've been looking on the up and up as well. So lots of tough competition as we head towards that promotion tournament in a few weeks' time.
Well, speaking of the Mysterious Monkeys, they and Unicorns of Love are preparing for the second series as we speak. Will we see another upset today? We're going to find out in just a minute.